I'm a severe germaphobe, and I just saw a dad let his child pee right in a parking space at my favorite Target location. I'm a germaphobe, and today after going to a therapy germaphobe session, coincidentally, I did a quick walk into my local Target to grab some stuff. Then when I was leaving, I saw a dad in the parking lot put his son's pants down in the parking lot and his son peed. And not just a little, it was a huge puddle, and the urine was splashing everywhere. It was like someone pouring out an entire jug of apple juice onto the street. The dad looked both ways, then said, "Time to go," picked up his kid and placed him in the back seat. The kid literally peed in front of the back, right passenger door, right on the guest path where one would get in and out of their car. Absolutely disgusting, and I'm so scared to even go back to this Target. I was even going to apply for a job here and everything, but as a germaphobe, I fear that the next driver who parks there and gets out of their car will step over the pee and spread the germs throughout the store and parking lot. Sad face. My mother thinks me being trans is something against her. Trigger warning: self-harm, abuse, and transphobia. Today I, 20, non-binary/FDM, finally confronted my mother, 43, about me wanting to fix our relationship. I wanted to try and see if she was willing to do therapy and try to heal with her. I had told her that I had to talk myself into even messaging her and be in the right headspace to even talk to her. She said she didn't want to because she didn't want to compromise her morals, and that she can't see my reality as I can't see hers. She tried to make me see that she will always see me as her daughter. So I told her if we don't go to therapy, I don't want a relationship with her anymore. She tried to say that she has anxiety when talking to me to not make me upset. I then said therapy would help us. Then she tried gaslighting me into believing that this is my fault and that I was happier before I started my transition. Also that I lied to her about this, and clearly if I lied I knew it was bad and I was hurting myself. I told her I didn't tell her because I knew how she felt about this topic and knew she wouldn't take it well. I have heard her talk very negatively on LGBTQ+ topics and that she is very homophobic and transphobic. In the past, she tried once by saying that I wasn't gay and maybe asexually, and then when I did try to say I was, she said, "Clearly don't know what I'm talking about." I tried telling her that I was happy now, and when she tried to argue with me, she told me I would regret this when I got older, and clearly this is masking a different problem. I told her that when I lived with her I was unhappy and found out I was trans. I didn't want to be trans. I believed it was a phase that if I prayed enough I could make it go away and bury it, then pretend that it never happened. But it only made me more miserable, and I thought if I had killed myself, I would die as someone normal. I said that I didn't think I was going to make it to 18, let alone 20. But now I'm happy and want to take care of myself and see a bright future for me to live a long life. Unfortunately, she hung up in the middle of this, and I thought she was done talking to me. But after she called back, I continued with this and finished. She said I hung up on her. It eventually got to the point that I said I didn't feel safe around her and that I tried to give her space when I was living with her about this and let her figure her emotions out about this. She said I left her when I moved out with my dad, that I abandoned her, and she felt like she lost her daughter. I told her because she got violent with me and attacked me as a minor at the time. She tried gaslighting me, saying I was the person who attacked her, a pregnant person. I thought she didn't like non-binary terms. I told her I don't want to remain in contact with her, but I am willing to be there if my sister wants to know me. Also, if she wants to compromise later, then said, yeah, we can talk about this like in a month. I said no, either we fix this now, or I don't want to remain in contact with her anymore. She tried near the end to change her mind, saying that she'll go to therapy, but won't compromise her morals for me, that she will always be there for me. I said that isn't what I want, and that this isn't going to work. She tried to argue with me that she was a chemist and knows what she's talking about, and I said science has shown recently that it's more complicated than what she knew. Then she said if I don't throw in religion, then don't throw in science, and she doesn't want to hear it. Then I said I hope she and my sister have a good life. During this, she tried cutting me off, saying that she loves me, but I said I hope she is well and hung up on her. Also, side note, she tried dead naming me during this conversation, but I corrected her during that. My parents won't let me home. I'm 18. Just when I approached 18, I was sectioned and had to go to a psychiatric hospital due to people thinking I'm paranoid and my outbursts. My mental health was really poor. My dad, I felt, has always provoked me. We don't always get on. I'm high-functioning autistic. He's always been hard on me, and used to film me when something would stress me out despite my mom telling him not to. There has been occasions like once we ran out of food and I asked my dad to get some, and he refused. I was irate, so kicked the door. He then threatened the police. I wanted him to take me to my grandparents, but he refused, so it escalated and he called the police. Latest incident was him having loud music, and I asked him to turn it down and he wouldn't, and I asked if after I came home he could turn it down, but he wouldn't, and says he doesn't care and can do what he wants. I was shouting. He then threatened the police and threatened to film me again. So I walked out and he followed, which triggered me. I'm annoyed at my mom as well in these situations, as she puts up with my dad and gives me the crap that she can't control him, she says. So does that mean she just lets him do what he wants? It can be a toxic dynamic. Anyway, I was discharged from hospital and my mom made it very clear I couldn't come home. Their reasons are that I don't get on with my dad and they want me to be independent, and they think it's not good for me living at home because I do nothing due to my depression. When I've said I will look for something to do and I can learn things to be independent, and I don't need to be independent yet. As for my dad, since the last incident, I've been getting on better with him, but I don't think that's a good enough reason. I've been staying with my grandparents who are 87 and 93, and I worry they won't be around forever. I just feel very unsettled not being at home. And it's a vicious cycle that I don't think my parents are being fair, so I rant at them, and they say the same thing, that they're in touch with services to find me supported accommodation when I don't think I could cope with the responsibilities. And I don't want to be there. But there's no talking to them, as only gets me into a state. And my dad says I can't ever come home. I'm lost and feel alone. Any advice would be appreciated, and honest opinions. I saw her in the wild. Warning: this is not normal entitled parent story, but I want to share. So one day I was helping my dad with something, and we had to stop at a little parking lot in front of our garage. We have separated garage about 200 meters from our house. My dad said he have to go away for a minute, so I waited in the car, and there she was. Most Karen-ish haircut, screaming for a manager, sunglasses, and all that stuff. I was sitting there scared. She looked directly into my eyes for a second, and I immediately looked somewhere else. After a few minutes, my dad showed up, and we drove away. Entitled Karen Hates Gender Reveal Criticism. This happened over social media, but it's my first and only encounter to memory with an entitled parent. I can't find anything in the rules that says nothing from social media, so here's how it goes. I'm quite an outspoken feminist, but try to at least give people the benefit of the doubt. Should I feel social justice-related criticism is warranted? I myself am gender non-binary, and like most of us, have gone through most of my life ignorant on the subject of trans/non-binary rights. So, if people are willing to learn or at least discuss the topic, I'm more than happy to have a polite conversation. However, what I have no patience for are people who get unreasonably angry at challenging the status quo. When it comes to parents, I can't decide for them how they raise their child or what gender they are assigned, but I can at least try my best to provide information on the subject for the parents to use at their discretion. As with willing ignorance, I have zero tolerance for transphobia or bigotry of any kind, which should, in my view, be a no-brainer. But you'd be surprised. In light of the recent fires started by a gender reveal party, which isn't the first time this has happened, I'm sure, I share a single-page cartoon from the webcomic series Assigned Male. The cartoon depicts the titular character, Steffi, at a gender reveal party, facing the reader and saying, "Gender reveal parties are both trans and intersex phobic. Throwing them for your babies tells the world you're not ready for a trans, gender non-conforming or intersex child." The cartoon also has a banner with the words, "Informing the world about our baby's genitalia," above the character. I shared this to my timeline and didn't tag anyone. Cue entitled Karen, whom I don't know all that well, who comes barging into the comments saying, 3 angry face emojis. I find this so freaking offensive. Name? I ask. Wait, why so? Entitled Karen. Name. You posted this kind of drivel on my post, telling me that I was damaging my child for having one. You tried to put your agenda in a place where it was not welcome and got chewed up by a lot of people. After you crap all over my post of what was supposed to be a happy occasion for me with my oldest son. Yes, I called him a son. A boy because his biological sexual organs depicted it. Just because it doesn't fit your agenda doesn't mean you can put others down for it, especially when they waited a freaking long time for that child. If any of my kids end up gay slash bi slash cis slash trans etc. when they are older, I'll support it. Plain and simple. I don't care what they are. They're my kids, and they will be loved unconditionally. I thought I was over you hijacking my happy post about finding out if I was having a boy or another girl, but seeing this has brought me back to anger. I've ignored a lot of your controversial posts, but this one hit home for me because you effectively ruined my reveal and insulted my friends because you were told that your comments were inappropriate and unwelcome. Keep in mind, I have dyspraxia, and so both my short-term and long-term memory isn't exactly excellent. But given her reaction, I can see where this is going, and am not going to put up with this kind of whining. So, I just say this. Get over it, Karen. Just because you insist on announcing to the world your child has a penis doesn't make it a good idea. Her parting shot before blocking me is, "A name, on my freaking wall, it's my choice. You could have not commented." And fudge you, by the way. It's entirely possible I was a bit rude about it and simply don't remember. But given how I usually approach the subject, I doubt it. At least on this occasion, the trash took out itself. My entitled aunt yelled at me for no reason. Let me set the scene for you guys. Me and my cousins and my sister were playing Minecraft. The three nice cousins, my sis, and the entitled cousin were in creative mode while I was in survival. I had an inventory full of stuff, so this will be important. So I was checking my inventory for all the stuff I needed, and I did, but when I get out I was getting attacked by my EC that had an invis potion on, so I didn't see her. She had killed me whilst in creative, which for me it's a big no as I couldn't defend myself, and the swords were obviously very OP, so I died in seconds. I had began to yell at the EC because it was uncalled for, and back then I had a very short fuse because I was picked on at school a lot, so I had anger issues. I was annoyed. So annoyed that I left the room after yelling at the EC. I was in the spare bedroom in my grandparents' house, where the whole scene takes place. When my NCs and my S came to ask what truly happened, I told them, then they asked the EC. Later on, about 20 minutes of the NCs and my S going back and forward, the entitled aunt came and yelled at me for making the EC cry and yelling over a game, but what you guys don't know is that we played on Pocket Edition. Everything is harder on P. When we went to leave, my mom was upset, probs from arguing about my and the EC's behavior. After it all happened, about a month pasted, and we were on better terms, and now Hindays they aren't entitled. This happened years ago. I have more stories if you want, but only if in 3 months this post gets 100 upvotes. Thanks for reading. My little brother deleted my world. Hello, I keep reading these stories and I wonder what it's like. This is the first time I ever encountered EPs and Ek. So my little brother, aka Ek, and his mom, aka EP, to my house. So I thought he was cool at first as it was my first time physically meeting him. He lives far away in America. I'm British. So the conversation after it started like this. Ek, hey, Sue, do you have any games? This was before we went to my room. I was being safe, so I took him to another. Me, why I have a few games. Ek, well, where are they? I don't see any. Me, well, they are in my room. Ek, excitedly, well, let's go then. I want to play the games. Me, I became vulnerable when he said it. Sure, we can go. I took him in my room. Ek, so where's your PC your mom was telling about? Me, it's here, let me switch it on for you. Ek, what games do you have? Me, well, I have Minecraft, Call of Duty, Halo, and a few others. Ek, can I play Minecraft? Me, okay, it's right there, but don't touch the world called Dream World. It took me 2 years to make this world, and it's a literal heaven. I took inspiration from the Ether mod, hehe. Ek, okay, I'll use your old worlds. Me, okay, fine, I'll allow. And the first thing that emoji hashtag 3RFU at hashtag RDID was launch my world and do/delete. Now I had world. Edit on, obviously I had to make clouds, so he literally deleted my entire world. 2 years of progress gone. I pushed him out of my chair, literally threw him. He started crying and I tried to use my backup files, but most were deleted. I slapped him with all power. Now I know I'm being harsh, but what would you do if you worked on one world for 2 years and it just vanishes? EP rushed into room with her son. EP, what did you do to my angel? Look what you did, he's crying. Me, your stupid son deleted my world that took 2 years to make. So now whose fault is it? Now I was 17, yes I still play MC cause why not? And he was 12. EP. So what, it's just a stupid game, what if he deleted it? Can't you just make it again? I was so furious I was about to snap. I am very patient, but when someone pushes me I sometimes lash out, so I tried my best to hold it back. That's all for part 1. If this post gets 100 votes, I'll do part 2.